Welcome to Mugu Games. This is Saturday night game day for Gatecrash. Today we have Cody Holman on the left and Franklin Koenig on the right. Cody's playing his Decker-Maiden deck again. You may remember him losing completely and embarrassingly last week.
Pretty bad.
Franklin is playing Grixis Control.
So we're playing Land Go. Both of these are pretty slow, grind them out decks. They're not super aggressive. So their plan is just to hit their land drops and see who can go over the top first. Yeah, it looks like they're both on track right now, hitting all their land drops. We have our first card down. That is a Rakdos Key Rune.
Yep.
So we can use that to get in. You can also use that to ramp.
He's going to play his cards in front of his mana. I prefer that way.
As opposed to the Mike where you build a moat around your land.
Yeah. Mike, he likes to play different every time. I never know what he's doing.
I play my lands on top of his deck. He doesn't like that too much.
Oh, finally, a decent card.
So we're going for Jace here. So this will be the value Jace, I'm sure.
There we go.
Looks like he's probably going to tick down. Yep, he's going to get himself a Factor Fiction here.
I see a Steam Vents, Tribute to Hunger, and another Steam Vent.
Looks like he's going to take, he's going to take the lands, I'm sure, in this matchup. Yep, take the lands right away. That's going to ensure he hits his land drops, which in this matchup is all you really want.
This matchup so far doesn't look different than last week. We have Cody playing lands tapped and no other cards.
The difference is his opponent's definitely not putting up as much of a fight here.
Oh, he just passed turn.
And that's the problem right there. So that's how you can tell right now that the match is going in the Grixis favor, because he's keeping hitting his land drops. Now he's going to be able to take Jace up.
Looks like Cody had, when he showed his hand, 2 Faithless Lootings there, and so he's looking for a red source. There we go. See if he can draw himself some better cards.
See, this right here is why I think we should be playing aggro or mid-range in this format. I mean, there's a good chance in these decks, like, the aggro deck's already won by this time.
Cody pitches a Rights and a Brobogamos, trying to flashback Rights, and that's going to be syncopated.
A Borbogamos or Baba Ganoush?
We call it Brobogamos in this store.
The Broseph?
Yeah, he's a bro.
The Bro Father? So we're going to Factor Fiction again. He's riding Jace to Value Town and getting pretty good gas mileage, I think, here.
You're going to take that Snapcaster.
Yeah, he might take the Snapcaster. We'll see. This will let us know what his mana base is looking like in his hand. He's flooded. He's going to take the Mr. Snappy. See, he just goes for the land again. That's a smart play right there, realizing that that's how he wins this game in a control matchup.
I bet you he already has a Snappy or another counterspell in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, right now in his graveyard, he only has one Syncopate. It's hard to get you the second time with Syncopate in the graveyard.
Dropping the second one's great, too, because it tricks your opponent into thinking you don't have another counterspell.
So we also pitched to Sever the Bloodline there, realizes that's probably a dead card in this matchup.
Here's Mulch. Not Sever the Bloodline for 4 mana. It's pretty decent, taking out Angel or even Robogamos.
He's at the point, though, where he can afford to flash it back or use Mr. Snappy on it, so it'll work just fine for him.
Looks like we're seeing a pitch for Aurelia and another Unburial Rights.
Go big or go home. Not just Aurelia, foil Aurelia. You forget about that, okay?
Yes. Cody, I believe, is homeless from buying that card.
Her boobs are glowing, literally.
Oh, Cody played a land and took the 2 damage. I'm surprised.
I'm Snappy here.
And Syncopate for 1. Yeah, see, he had that snap, and I bet you Cody didn't think he had one because he pitched one from Jace.
So here it comes here. So this is the fun of the control matchups, is seeing who bites first and actually tries to land the game winner here. Jace is just continuing to value itself up.
Something big? Holy crap, Nicobolus.
Nicobolus. I'd be surprised if he doesn't just stop Factor Fictioning Jace here and just try and steal the best card out of Reanimator's deck, which I hear is probably a pretty good card.
Yeah, there goes the Temple Guard, and Cody's now going to never be able to get some more land.
Yeah, this game is over. This really shows the power of valuing lands in this matchup. Franklin knew exactly what game he was playing, and he played to win.
And Cody, of course, kept the same terrible hand we seen last week, where he just doesn't do anything for 4 or 5 turns.
It's okay. He's getting some value. He's just getting to see all these cool cards happening.
Faithless? Dig dig?
No. Foil Faithless.
Foil Faithless.
Foil Faithless.
Somehow makes it a lot better in this situation.
Hey, you gotta respect at least the Faithless thing. That's played in Modern and some in Legacy. At least that card is worth.
Well, he does have a burial rights in the graveyard from what I see, and now's the time to do it.
Yeah, he's got to go for win here. It's going to be too late. He's going to loot again, it looks like. So is he waiting for one more turn then?
He just pitches. He doesn't even look at him.
Looks like there's some land over there. Again, you got to value the land in these matchups.
His hand actually looks stock full of it. We're going to see a Temple Garden and a Shock. Looks like he took our advice to heart there, Brady.
Yeah, this matchup is another matchup where you do shock yourself because you're not going to get run over. You're going to know against Grixis control whether you've lost 5 turns before you actually lose.
That's going to put 2 more lands in Cody's hand and another mulch.
So he's got a shovel and he's just a digging right now.
Really a Thrag, a Blood Crypt, and an Unburial
Looks
Rights.
like you got what you needed though right there. What's nice is with the Planeswalker's threats, he does have some time here. Nicol Bolas isn't blowing anything up this turn.
Just a land, but that land always puts him at a disadvantage. Jace is going to
see, and that's where I disagree there. I think he should be upping Jace right now. Because that win condition there at the end actually is pretty valuable. I don't know whether he has another one in his hand.
A Barter and Blood, a not too useful Pillar of Flame there.
Yeah, how about I sack 0 creatures and you sack 0 creatures? How's that sound?
Well, actually, Franklin does have a Snapcaster Mage on the field.
Okay, let's put it this way. You sacrifice 0 creatures and I sacrifice 0 creatures that matter.
There you go.
I mean, that Snapcaster isn't even foil, man. Why is this guy still playing?
Thinking. Oh, wants to see and pick exactly which land to nuke.
He's looking for the nearest mint foil right here.
Take out the white mana, prevent them hard casting from angels. However, it looks like Cody has at least 4 sources of white, so I don't know. Maybe go after the red and stop some. Nope, it's gonna go after Temple Garden.
And you notice that was the shiniest card. You couldn't see that one right there.
Correct.
So we're going down to 12 here.
From Snapcaster. See, Snapcaster did some work.
Yeah, well, what's nice is Snapcaster doesn't even have to do the whole 20 against Shocklands.
Franklin.
And here comes a Liliana of the Veil landing here. Let's see what he decides to do. Looks like they're both discarding here, so he's going to try and blow up some lands here. So now it's a race to see who can, whether he can ultimate before Cody can get a threat on the board. And again, this is where upticking Jace would be nice, because now he'd have 3 win conditions sitting there that all have to be handled.
I'm not done with all my stuff.
Alright, let's see. Cody does have an Unburial Rights in the graveyard. I think we'll see that this turn.
There's also a Nicol Bolas on the other side of the field, which is a slight problem for playing large creatures.
Well, we did watch Cody put about 5 lands in his hand last turn.
So he's going for the Unburial Rights here. Let's see if it sticks.
And sure enough, there's Bro Bogamos.
The Bro Master.
Yes, he's broific.
So for those of you who don't know what Bro Gogamus does, you're not alone. None of us do.
Put it up on screen for you there. Basically, Cody's going to start pitching lands and nuking Planeswalkers. Yeah. This is where you were right, where if he kept Jace out on the battlefield, Cody could definitely not kill 3 Planeswalkers.
Yep.
Let's see how many he does take out.
So he is a large hairy Valakut right now, chucking lands. He just chucked a cavern. I didn't know that was possible. It must be a small cavern.
Oh man, and Negabolus is gone. Ouch. Veil at 1, and this is where you would have Jace already up at 4. And
yep, you'd have to pick which threat.
It's going to take a few minutes to look through that graveyard.
Well, he's trying to decide what he can steal, because they're all foil and worth $60. So
yeah. Unfortunately, Franklin forgot to bring his sleeves to the match.
Yeah, it's pretty hard there. So right now, here's where, again, I think the game's pretty much over. It'll just be about 2 or 3 turns before it actually happens here.
Snapcaster. Oh, I think we're going to see Sever for 4. See who says you have to pay that expensive flashback cost. Cody's going to pitch his last land, killing Liliana.
And again, if he had kept that Jace out, could still have a threat on the board. As of right now, though, he's still got a clock here. He wins next turn if our hero can't actually play another foil
I think
mythic.
It's pretty embarrassing to die from 2 snaps and a 2 key runes.
Well, and the shock lands, you know. They don't have to do the whole 20. They got to do the whole, like, 14.
Cody's desperately looking for something to play. And he doesn't have to play much here. He just has to be able to play something that Franklin can't handle.
Yeah, here that's one thing. I think knowing that Sever's in the graveyard with the bro, I might have just gone straight to the head.
Scooped like a wuss. Well, we're gonna go on to game 2 here in a second.
Pithing Needle?
Yes, actually, surprisingly, Cody's seen that many planeswalkers and decided to throw in a Pithing Needle. I was quite surprised that he was able to watch our video and learn.
At least someone did. So we have game 2, and we'll see what they have for a sideboard package. Franklin's probably going to have the better sideboard package, being the control deck, and he's up 1 game.
I really think when Cody plays, we should just skip to about turn 5 when people start playing cards.
Well, look at that. That happened turn 2.
Oh, wow, that's the ultimate mulch on turn 2 for Reanimator. He's going to have to pitch a card.
You know, that's one thing the Reanimator never wants to do is pitch retarded and large foil mythics.
There's a Thragger's, not the best, but something in the graveyard. Against this kind of deck where Franklin's not having any combat threat, Thragtusk isn't going to do much work.
Oh, it absolutely can, because it's basically a 2-for-1 against any of those removal spells, and a lot of those spells that he's leaving in probably aren't going to be the most efficient right now. So I think if I'm Cody, I just try and land as many of those things as I can and make him answer them all.
Well, there's another one that's going to hit the graveyard, along with a mulch and a salvage.
So Cody's definitely way ahead here. He's filling his graveyard with things he wants to cast. He's got a hand full of land. So exactly what happened last game is happening the reverse on this game.
Franklin's the one not playing cards so far. And so far so exciting.
Good to know, though, he is playing the Jank Sleeves with the Jank Grixis control deck.
Yes, this deck was quite janky.
He be representing, yo.
Well, I really hope to see something at this point. You can hard cast a Thragtusk. Do something. Just play Magic. No, nothing.
Well, again, he knows he's winning right now on the board and in the graveyard, so he doesn't have to walk right into a Syncopate right now.
I don't know. I prefer to personally walk into as many as possible. I like to eat them out of the hand.
You mean cheeseburgers? That's what you like to do.
I do see an Aurelia's Fury in Cody's hand there, so maybe that's what Cody's waiting for.
That's kind of surprising. He actually played it. He actually kept
Whoa!
Aurelia's Fury.
What is
in.
that?
Is that a basic island?
Whoa, we're gonna have to put that on screen because there's in this game. I don't think anyone's gonna recognize what that does.
What it does is come into play untapped, which is kind of surprising.
We have Rakdos Key Rune here, which, as we've seen from last game, is Franklin's win condition.
Well, this is quite the condition. It's really funny that's really the best, like, as far as key runes go. I mean, that's really the only one that sees play.
Well,
It's
3/1 that can't be hit by creature destruction or the sorcery speed is pretty
And
useful.
that first strike on the 3/1 is ridiculous.
And it gives you mana ramp. Oh, there we're going to see Key Rune. And swing for 3.
You can tell how close this game is because, as you can see, both players are actually playing on their own playmats, unlike last game.
Faithless Looting.
So we're going to loot here. So Cody is herping the derp. Basically, the goal here is to see, he wants to get a hand full of shiny foils.
The more, I don't even think he cares what cards they are.
I don't think he's in the tank right now. I just think he's going, ooh, pretty.
Thinking. What's he going to pitch? He's going to drop. See Brobogamos and a Blood Crypt.
True story. Cody actually got his girlfriend by showing her his shiny foil deck.
It's true. She was stunned and did not have a chance to look at his face.
And there's a Syncopate there.
Ah, of course.
I think that was baited out right there. I like to at least think that Cody baited that one out.
Yeah, hard
Testing
cast
the
Aurelia.
waters. Testing the waters of the card that doesn't matter as much.
It's gonna matter how many counterspells and removal Franklin has. If Franklin draws one too many lands here or there, or draws one too many useless cards, like a Pillar of Flame, for example, which I really hope he took out, he's not going to be able to
Well, you'd like
gain
to think.
control.
Are you sure that was an Aurelia in his hand, or Aurelia's Fury in his hand, or was that actually an Aurelia?
It's hard to tell because of the shininess of the cards.
It's got to be an Aurelia. If he kept Aurelia's Fury in, then...
This is my win condition.
Well, I guess I did see him play last game, so... It's possible it's still in Aurelia's Fury.
As we've seen, win condition just swung for 3 more. Burial Rites, picking...
The Brotado, I'm betting.
Oh, Franklin lets that resolve. Yes, there we go. My bro, my man, Bro Bogamos. Now, a lot of people, I've heard an argument in the store that people don't like Bogamos because he doesn't do anything on turn 1, but I disagree. Having that land in your hand, and from the number of mulches we've seen Cody perform.
And there's an Aurelia as well?
Fury.
That's an Aurelia's Fury.
Looks like Franklin wants to play a card today, so he's gonna Snapcaster Syncopate for 1.
Yeah, what he's trying to do there, so he kept that Aurelia's Fury in. Basically, it's a time walk. He casts it on upkeep, and his opponent can't do anything during his turn.
Well, Franklin doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to swing. Well, I guess he's got Bogamos to deal with, but
yeah, what it allows him to do then is now on upkeep, anytime that his opponent wants to actually deal with his bro, he can chuck a bunch of mountains at his face. Valakut on a stick, my friends. So that's actually a pretty clever include there.
Appetite for Brains. That's pretty useful. If you're lucky, you hit an Burial Rites. Oh, 3 lands. Worthless. So, and then Franklin did a whole lot of stuff to do a whole lot of nothing this turn.
Yeah, basically he had to blow his counterspell and a Snapcaster just to have his turn. And then he, basically all he needs to do is he just needs to name foil with Appetite for Brains, and he wins.
Yeah. Let's see, Cody should swing here for some scary damage. Nope, what? We are going to see another reanimation?
No, he just wants to look at the pretty cards. Aurelia has boobs, He's probably just looking at those.
Yes. Shiny boobs, Flashback Faithless. Maybe is he searching for more lands?
Looks like it. He just tosses another, looks like that's another Broseph in the graveyard.
Something too shiny to tell you what's underneath it. Swing for 7.
Yeah, here's where the game is basically over. There's going to be a concession here pretty quick.
Well, Franklin doesn't have too many options. He needs to play a card, or at most he can block 2 of that trample damage.
Yeah, well, he's just sharding himself right now, basically.
Depends. Cody has 5 cards in his hand. If Cody has 5 lands, blocking 2 won't help because it'll put him at an even number to just die. Trigger effect. 1 land. Grizzly Salvage and a Faithless are dumped.
And so here's where we play the I had all these. He's just going to drop a bunch of lands.
1 out of time, of course. Does he have all of them? Now, playing cards like this 1 at a time is actually a good show of skill because you never know when your opponent has something. You can dump all 5 on the stack at once and have them do something that can ruin your day.
Plus, you get to show off the $20 foils each one, right?
Yes.
Pretty nice.
Looks like Cody's going to win, and we're going to have to go to game 3. The start of this game, each player is going to mull down to 6, and we're going to see Franklin start off the match. Cody again showing off his shinies.
So we have a Dissipate in there at least. That's going to be pretty clutch of this matchup. So Franklin's game plan is basically to get to 3 mana with 2 blue and try and disrupt anything he can at the beginning here.
So nice to see a deck as well as Franklin's that doesn't rely on the back of a Thragtusk and some common cards that you have to see.
It's also nice to see a game 3.
Yes.
Yeah, both of these decks are actually fairly unique.
Both require late game, so they're actually just very well paced against each other. Nobody's in any stressful situations. They're just putting lands into play and passing turn. I'm surprised the game has taken as long as it has so far.
Yeah, cool. Cody's at a pretty distinct advantage in this game. Franklin has to answer everything that Cody does, whereas Cody really doesn't care too much what Franklin's doing.
I see a Zealous, an Aurelia, a Temple Garden, and a Stomping Ground. And there's the Overgrown Tomb. Cody will pick
What the hell? Left.
Temple Garden.
He's going to keep Temple Garden. What's nice about having that Zealous Conscripts in the graveyard now is it basically eliminates any of Franklin's Planeswalkers as threats. He can threaten to have a Unburial Rites in his hand at any time, go back and steal whatever Planeswalker he wants. So I really don't know what Franklin's game plan is right here. It would be nice to see what he has in his sideboard to answer a deck like this. I haven't seen a single Cremate, haven't seen a single anything like that as far as the...
At this point, I think, what do? Do you play the Jace in his hand, or do you just keep waiting to play the Dissipate?
I think right now you scoop and go to Mikey's for a nice burger.
Hey, and you know, they do got those chili cheese dogs. They're pretty nice. We're going to see...
And a bathroom for after the chili cheese dog. Yeah, he definitely holds up the Dissipate. Again, though, it looks like he's just not sideboard. He doesn't have a sideboard plan for this deck. This is where the sideboards are so crucial. These decks that go over the top of his control decks, he has to have answers for graveyard decks. That's pretty much the only thing that beats him game one. With his removal suite and Grixis.
Alright, we're going to see a flashback of 3 mana, so probably a Faithless. Yes! Wow, look at you. This card is so shiny, you cannot actually see it.
That was actually a prop used in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was the thing that's shown the light on the actual location of the Ark.
You sure it wasn't the thing so bright that it just killed everyone in the room?
Well, I think right now Franklin's about to have his face melted off, so it's possible.
This is my win condition.
Rakdos Keyroom. The win con, as we call it.
Man, look at those 2 angels sitting on the top of Cody's graveyard. So shiny and not very effective as they usually are, because Franklin doesn't really play any creatures other than Snapcaster Mage.
And there's a Dissipate right there. So Franklin played his game the way he had. It's very tempting to want to drop things, but he knows that's what he needs to do right there. He basically just 2 for 1 Cody, because it's out of his graveyard as well.
This is my win condition.
Swing with the wing con. Get that damage in.
So that was a very well played turn. That's exactly what Franklin needed to do. Now he needs, it looks like, is that another Dissipate in his hand?
Well, even he probably has a Snapcaster. At this point, I mean, he's got to eventually get Jace out in play. He's got to start digging through his deck. He's got to start getting something a little bit better. If he can get Jace to draw like a Sever, then he should be fine.
There's the other Dissipate. So unfortunately, he had to use it on that as opposed to an Unburial Rites. But again, it's basically a 2 for 1. He's able to get things out of the graveyard as well with Dissipate. And right here is where he really should play Jace. He needs to take a turn off the Keyroon and play his Jace. Put something down that his opponent has to match.
I'm personally a fan of playing like the Jace earlier because Cody's not going to directly kill Jace. Cody's going to put a creature into play. Franklin needs to kill stuff, and if Franklin runs out of things to kill Cody's creatures, that's where the trouble begins. So taking a chance at playing Jace early, I personally feel is more advantageous.
Yeah, but you have the 2 Dissipates. The Dissipate's how he wins this game.
And now he's out of the Dissipates, though. What other things does he have? Angel Serenity. And he's going to choose...
I would be surprised if it wasn't Zealous Conscripts. Again, he's got to know that that's basically the win condition right there. There's a Zealous Conscripts right there.
Fix 2.
And he's going to be smart. He's only going to do 2.
Tribute to Hunger, a perfect play to just answer. It's going to leave both of those creatures permanently exiled.
Yes, that's exactly the way. So both these players are showing a high level of skill right here. Being patient, they know what their deck's going to do and what their deck doesn't do. And here's where Jace has to land. Here's where Jace absolutely has to land. He's gotten rid of the threats out of the graveyard. For the most part, he's gotten rid of most of the threats in the hand. At this point, if your opponent still has something, you just got to shake their hand, but you got to go for your win too.
We're going to see Keyroon first. Cody down to 9 from just Keyrune beatdown.
So he's again representing counter magic in his hand. We'll see what happens here.
We did not see a Jace. I hope Franklin's got some good cards in his hand.
This is where the control matchups are so tough. They're so intuitive, and at one point you just have to pull the trigger. Cody's being so much more aggressive. He's just demanding an answer every single turn.
Burial Rites. I'm not seeing a Snapcaster counterspell for this. Aurelia hits the floor.
And see, here's where Jace is great too, because I mean that's the chance to dig for that answer.
Yeah, that reduces 2 damage because the 2 combats you'd only swing for 4. You would have an answer in your hand as another option. It looks like Franklin will take 6.
And it's an effective 6-point life gain as well, because his opponent's going to take out his Jace, no question.
We definitely need to see Aurelia go down this turn.
I would be surprised if he doesn't have an answer. And there goes Jace. So this is going to be a quick Factor Fiction digging for answers. Yep.
This is my win condition.
Win con there.
And the Snapcaster. He's going to take whatever pile has that Snapcaster in it right there.
Get the appetite for brains too. Get one more thing out of Cody's hand. That's actually Actually,
you might take the appetite because he's not going to be able to Snapcaster Dissipate this turn. He could Snapcaster Tribute if he needed to.
He's going to take the appetite. Yeah, Snapcaster Tribute later on, or Snapcaster.
You can Snapcaster
Dissipate.
Tribute this turn.
We are going to see. There's a
So we had
7.
the answer anyway.
In which case I would have took the Snapcaster to be able to have an option next turn. Franklin does have 1 more mana. Ooh, but he passes. I would have Appetite here.
No, he doesn't have any more mana there. Oh, he has
No,
his
he's a-
Rakdos. Yeah, that's true. I actually don't think... I think I'd keep that in my hand. That's a pretty valuable tool
if you
later
see,
on.
Cody does have his Zealous in his hand.
Yeah, but at this point, Jace doesn't do that much. He can wait. Jason, or having a Zealous Conscripts out right now doesn't do all that much. I mean, you get to kill the Jace and get some cards. But also the cards are discarded at the bottom of his deck anyway, so they're not going in the graveyard.
Well, I
And
would
you
say
get to
I'd say
control.
killing the Jace is more, you know, it hurts Franklin.
Is the Zealous Conscripts in his hand, or is it
Yeah,
permanently
see it in
exiled?
there. Second card from
So
the
you must
back.
have another Zealous Conscripts then, so 2, at least in the sideboard.
I believe Cody plays at least one of them main board, but I might be wrong on that.
Well, what you can do is just ask Mike how many foils have been sold.
Here we go. And which one? He's got a Restoration Angel or 2 in there.
So there's a Zealous Conscripts right there. We're going to take the Jace. He'll immediately blow the Jace up.
Isn't that sweet when a non-blue deck just plays a Factor Fiction off of that? Thragger's on Burial Rites and a Sun Petal Grove.
So he's going to split up the... Yep, there we go.
Cody probably not wanting to put Unburial on the bottom of his deck. Doesn't really care too much about Thragtusk. Now Cody gets to swing for 3. It's not very advantageous. Maybe
think he
leave it
holds
open
it
as a
back.
block. Yeah, I think I would too. 3 damage against 20 health isn't. Cody just needs to get one of his Crater Hoof Behemoths or his Borbogamous out and just end this. So blocking that Keyrune as Franklin's win condition is very nice. Faithless Looting. Restoration Angel now. It looks like he has 2 of them in his hand. If his
We're going to Zealous Conscripts dribble all over your face.
I'm actually surprised. I remember Cody having those in his hand for quite a while. He could have played them at the end of any of Franklin's turn. At the very least, he gets a 3/4 flyer hitting Franklin in the face, and Franklin has to devote resources to kill it, or it gets counterspelled and Cody's free to play a card on his own turn.
Go big or go home, though. At this
Appetite.
point, here we go. Is he going to miss again?
No, he's got a Restoration Angel. Looks like he passes here, and we're gonna have a Judge Alert at this moment. When a zone is known to both players, you can't actually fail to find. So what's gonna happen is he needs to remove one of the Restoration Angels from the hand.
So what happened there was we had our Judge Alert, and then someone who was what we call not a judge came over and started slinging rules around here.
Yeah, if you notice something wrong with the game, ask the players to hold on, call a judge, and speak to a judge away from the table.
This is
So
my win
that
condition.
we can make a clear determination of what's going on without alerting the players to information they may not otherwise have. So we're going to see Keyrune beat down on a block.
The point, he already got all the value he needs out of that Zealous Conscripts. And here comes a Lily. So they're going to be discarding right here.
Is discarding, does that hurt Cody?
It depends. I mean, he knows what's in his hand, so he knows he's not going to get a org dropped or anything like that. He knows that the worst is going to be a Restoration Angel.
Let's see what Cody drew. Well, I guess he could just flash back. He's got several Unburial Rites in his graveyard.
And this is where if Cody wanted to be really risky, he could have not chumped with his Zealous Conscripts this turn in hopes that Zealous Conscripts, knowing that there's a Restoration Angel, prevents anything from happening with Planeswalkers.
Burial Rites on Brobogamus. Yeah, exile that, Cody. And we're going to see another Unburial Rites. And this has got to be my favorite play in the game. People don't see this. Franklin tries to hand over his Lily, but Cody's going to use Zealous to target Brobogamos and give Brobogamos haste for the turn. So that's painful. All at Franklin's face. None of that going towards the Planeswalker. Trigger from Brobogamos. Not a single land.
And this right here is pretty interesting. I wonder whether our Rakta or whether our Grixis deck actually has Big Jace in the sideboard. Because right now, 1 or 2 swings from the Big Jace wins this game.
3 to Lily. Won't be able to make him sacrifice a creature now.
And here it comes. He's basically drawing dead right here. Unless that was a removal spell, this is game over. And again, this is where I think the pure control decks, which is really what this deck right here is, just is such a disadvantage because there's so many threats landing, and the removal and counter magic just isn't good enough in the format right now.
We're going to see an expensive Sever. See, this is where I think Franklin's critical failure was when he used Jace. He could have took a Snapcaster to give him so many options, but he took an Appetite and then didn't even use it that turn, which would have hit the Zealous Conscript. And he would still have Jace on board.
Yep, so here we go. He's at 4 life right now. Pretty much anything kills him, and there's a Conscripts on the table.
And we do know Cody has Restoration Angel. I don't know if Franklin remembers that. If Cody's smart, he Restoration Angels the Zealous and takes the Key Rune and swings through. I believe Cody even has the mana to activate the Key Rune.
He does. I see a red and a black.
Yes, so it's going to be Restoration Angel. And it's gone. There's
the handshake.
Well, I'm a fan of both of these decks. Cody's played his a lot better.
Well, Cody just played his this time, which was really nice to see.
Yeah, instead of 1 Thragtusk in 2 games.
I mean, I enjoyed the Pinata, don't get me wrong. I love swinging at a defenseless victim. And Candy pretty much came out of his ass. Let's face it, last game.
Cody wins his shiny mat that he shows off there. And he's going to be back next week to try to, tomorrow, in fact, actually, to try to win the second one. But that was after 8 grueling rounds of Magic. Both players were pretty tense. I think I've seen a couple handshaking a few times. I knew they're on edge. Both of them had a really good attitude the whole game. Franklin especially was very positive, and neither one of them got excessively competitive.
It just shows also the diversity of the format here. We have 2 completely different decks. In fact, different decks than we see in most even Star City Opens and whatnot here at the final table.
Here's the shiny show off from Cody. Nope, he's going to stop at 3. He just wants to go home and masturbate to his new mat. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Come and check us out tomorrow. We'll be having Sunday's match. Good night, and thanks for stopping in.
See ya.